Hi, this is Mark from SMPostcards again, the best place to learn about postcard reselling. So today I have another jam-packed video to go through with you. We sold 19 cards on eBay, 4 cards on Etsy, and 2 cards on Hip for a total of 25 different cards. Now remember, with these videos, it's not about the dollars. Well, it is about the dollars. But it's about the variety of different cards. I get so many emails asking me about, will this card sell, or what sells, what's the best cards to look for. And the best way I can do this is go through all the cards that I sell for today, and you can see the different varieties. So I'll go ahead and, when I start, I'll show you the front of the card, the back of the card, tell you a little bit about the card if I know anything, and then what we got for dollar-wise and where it's going to be shipped. So that'll give you a good idea as we go through on the variety, the prices, and maybe learn a little bit about the postcard. Also, for the little exercise, I always try to do something a little different in the videos. We have a novelty postcard. I'm not for sure if anybody knows about them. They're called Squeakers. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the Squeaker Postcards. I have another postcard term with the definition, and then I have a little short video and behind the scenes of one of our short videos for the Momence High School and a little history behind that. So the first order that I have on eBay is a double order. I got a couple multiple orders today on eBay, Etsy, so people bought more than one card. This gentleman Joseph bought 2 cards for St. Paul, Minnesota. The first one is Como Park, Lake Como and Pavilion in St. Paul, Minnesota. So there's a boat out there, there's the lake. This is a nice chrome card, very well kept, unposted card. And if you notice, it has a little silhouette in there of the capital of St. Paul. That's the capital of Minnesota. So that's the first card. The second card is Como Park, St. Paul, Minnesota. So this is the park. Let me get it right. Nice little walkway. So he must live up there in that area. These are actually being shipped to Ellicott City, Maryland. So they're not in Minnesota. And each of these cards sold for $4.45. The total order was $8.97. Card that sold. There's a huge base of collectors out there that collect certain things. People collect one guy collects rhinoceroses, only purple ones, or birds. Well, there's a big group out there that collect Holiday Inn postcards, and this is the Holiday Inn in Montebello, California. It's a chrome card. It is posted. It was postmarked 1966, and that's the Holiday Inn. I always pick up the Holiday Inn cards no matter what. They don't sell for a lot of money, but they always get picked up, and they sell pretty well. So Holiday Inn is one that a lot of collectors, I've had people send me messages asking about, do I have any Holiday Inn cards? And if you notice, it's got the old sign right there. So anything with signs, road signs and stuff like that, that usually helps sell these types of cards. But that's just a chrome card from 1966, and I got $4.45 for that. And it's being sent to Buena Park, California. Remember, I'm going to go through, 4, 6 of these, 7 of these cards. Then I'll break it up with, talk about the Squeaker postcards, and I got the video to show, I got a definition. So I'll break all this, all this up as showing what's sold. But again, it's about the type of card that sells, what's selling, and not really about the dollars or the number of cards, but just a variety, so you get a good idea of what to look for when you go to the antique malls, the flea markets, or buying big lots, to thumb through them. And this is how I learned, is just putting them up there, see what sells, what doesn't sell, and go through and pick them out. And repetition is how you get good at looking for the cards, is just keep doing it over and over. And that's what these videos I'm hoping is doing, is keep showing you the cards, so it'll trigger in your mind when you go out to find some cards to list. You know what to look for, or have a good idea. So the next card that sold was postcard America Wonderland, Pennsylvania. This looks like it's a painting or something on there. It's a miniature is what it is. It's a diorama of the America Wonderland in Pennsylvania. It's a chrome card. It's a little miniature in a museum. It's unposted, so I'd probably say it's probably from the late 60s. But this card sold for $4.45. It's going to Ken in Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. Cards here. This person, Casey, bought 2 cards, and I've sold both of these cards many times before, and I always look for the Western motif or Buffalo Bill. This is the gravesite at Wildcat Point in Colorado, and this is a white border card. It's got a nice inset of the picture there, but that's his grave right there. It's not a linen, it's nice and smooth white border card, unposted on the back. Now it does have a little on the corners here, if you can see. If these really get wore down where they're rounded, that's where the term rounded corner will come in from a wear standpoint. But also chrome cards have a rounded corner that are made that way. So there's 2 ways to look at that term, but these aren't quite there. But it does have a little bit of a crease in the top at the corners, and that's the gravesite for Buffalo Bill. And the next one that he found was the portrait of Buffalo Bill, and this is a chrome card. As you can see, it's nice and shiny on there. It's not a white border card, even though it has a white border. This is a chrome card, so it's an earlier card, more in the present. But that's Buffalo Bill. It's unposted. Most of these cards sold for $4 a piece, so it's $8 total. They were probably offers sent to buyers. We send offers every day, all day, for 10% when they pop up in eBay, and we send those out. It usually, our sales, about 40-45% of the sales we have on these types of cards is from offers that we send. So, but then a lot of people say, well, how can you make money selling something at $4? I would never do that. I get emails about that all the time. And I just told them, I said, well, if I sell 10 cards a day at $4.45, that's about $16,000 a year to put a piece of paper, in an envelope. And I don't need a lot of storage. They're really cool to work with. I like dealing with these. They're not heavy. They're not bulky. There is a learning curve, but you $16,000 or $20,000 a year on postcards, and sometimes you can get these pretty cheap. I mean, I've bought postcards for like about 2 cents a piece, 1 cent a piece sometimes on the bigger lots or estate sales, and I've also paid, I paid $20, $30 for a postcard. It just depends, but most of the time, this is why we work on a bulk. We sell in volume. That's our model. We're not a big researcher where we're going to research every card, because for the money there is and the time put in to research every card, that's where you lose your money. But if you put them up there, get them to the collectors, put them for a price it'll sell, you'll move the product, and over time, in volume, you'll make up that little difference. Now, I did go out and I bought another little lot of cards. There's about 300 cards here. I paid about 3 cents a piece for each one of these cards. And just to show you some of the things that came in that batch, here's a really nice little card. It says, if you want to play with me, play fair. It's a little baseball guy there. Now this is one card that I would research, or I would price up, because it is unique. It's a little different. It's kind of a comic card. It does have a little bit of a crease in it. This is another type of card that was in there. It really caught my eye. It's kind of unique, so that one will be, some of these I would research. Here's another Western motif one in that batch. Here's a hand-painted one from earlier. And just, so when I bought this lot, there's some kind of a hug or something. They're just unique ones. And there is some like hotels and stuff like that, but they all sell. Here's a patio. But for the price I got these, there's some bridges. Bridges always do well. And here's a lake scene. This is kind of like an autochrome. This is divided back. Kind of an airbrush type card. But there was just so much in there, and I got them for such a cheap price. And the dollars per card is what you want to look for when you're buying the lots. And I buy the smaller lots. If I have a lot of cards, like I got about probably a year's worth of inventory already scanned, ready to list, Now I can go out and look for the smaller lots, because if you buy a real big lot, you might get all of the same card. So if I cherry pick the little lots here and there, I get different types of cards. But I needed to get some divided back, some older cards. I had a lot of chromes. I wanted to mix it up a little bit in the store, so I bought this batch here. Ordered Buffalo Bill card. This order total came to $8.48, and they're being shipped to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The card that's sold is a chrome card, and it's the castle on Rock Candy Mountain. So it's an inspiration point in Eureka Springs. The unique construction overlooks the White River 500 feet below, which lies between the Table Rock and Beaver Lakes. Tour gives and questions. So that's Castle on Rock Candy Mountain. It's an unposted chrome card, and this sold for $4.45 full asking price, and it's going to Wanda in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Go ahead and do this next order. It has 3 cards that were ordered, and after that I'll go through the definition. Every video I try to do a terminology that's used in the postcard world for postcard talk, and the definition and a little bit about it. So this order had 3 cards. The first card is Indian Mound Park in St. Paul, Minnesota. I had to get my bearings there for a second. But this is a divided back card on there. It's the Indian Mound Park in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now this card isn't posted, but it does have some writing on the back, and it does have like a sticker. It says the Fine Arts Department. Another one that says it's property of the public library, but I don't pay attention to those. You know, it's older. People used to stamp these cards like that. They're still okay to sell. But that's the divided back card on there. This is probably, it's got a 1-cent stamp box on it. The next one is the same park, Indian Mound Park. This is a undivided back card, since there's no dividing line on the back. It's an older card. It has a writing tab on the bottom where only the message can be put on the front, and the address on the back. And that's another view of that park, another older card in the early 1900s. And then the last one, I just posted this card yesterday, and I remember doing it, and it caught my eye, and I didn't really know what to do with the title. And remember, the keywords in the title is what catches these postcard collectors on their saved searches in eBay, or what they search for. So the title for this one, I put as Postcard Train Crossing Mississippi River near St. Paul, Minnesota. So the keywords I had is train, Mississippi River, St. Paul, Minnesota. And if you look at that, this is a linen card, unposted, and right up there is a train. I didn't see that at first. I just saw the title at the bottom says Crossing the Mississippi River between St. Paul and Minneapolis. Then what caught my eye is crossing. What's crossing? Well, that little train right there might have been what sold this card. But look at the blue. You can right away you can tell it's a linen just with that bright inks, and then the higher fiber card reg count that you can feel. But it's an unposted card. But I just posted that one, listed that one on eBay yesterday, and it sold less than 24 hours. All of these cards sold for full price, $4.45. The total order was $12.74, and they're going to Joseph in Ellicott City, Maryland. So that was the same gentleman that bought the other St. Paul, Minnesota cards. Over the postcard term and definition. To learn about postcards, there's a steep learning curve at first, but once you reach the top, it kind of bellows over, and it's just an ongoing learning process. When I first started in the postcards, I didn't know what these people were saying about divided backs and all these different things. So I'm constantly looking at terms and looking at definitions, how people say things about it, you know. And so I wanted to bring that to these videos. So I always pick out a term, and hopefully I have enough to get through all the videos. I'll just keep reusing them. But repetition is what gets people to understand things. So the term I got today that deals not just with postcards, but with all older items is ephemera. And I'll put it right down here so you can read it as I go. It's any printed or handwritten item normally discarded after its intended use, such as calendars, postcards, trade cards, tickets, and valentines. So you'll see ephemera all over the place. I mean, I see it at auctions, I see it at estate sales, I see it at flea markets, I see it on eBay, and some of it sells for really, really good money. I've seen people sell letterheads from lawyer offices, land deeds from the 1900s, tickets for trains, and even, newer stuff out there that should be ephemera that should have been thrown away after first use. And it's just amazing. So when you see that word, you know it's old paper, and if you can buy a big lot of it, it's pennies on a dollar, pennies for each item, and you can turn around and research it and learn a lot. Now it does take some time, and you gotta look for damage and stuff like that, but there's so much information on ephemera out there. There's Victorian era stuff, and you can just get boxes and boxes. People just don't, a lot of estate sales, they just want to throw it in a box. They don't know what it is. People don't want to deal with it. They don't want to take the time to do that. So ephemera is a word. I always end up saying it's different, but I think I got it today, ephemera. And right now I'm looking at an auction, and there are some old Pennsylvania, Philadelphia train tickets, and it says, 20 ephemera, 20, train tickets. And the prices right now for 20 of them, they're almost $6 a piece already. And they still got a couple of days to go. So what can you sell those for? That's when you research them and stuff. But ephemera is the term for today. That's sold. I got into a lot of cards, and it's a bunch of 1950s, 1960s postcards of motels. That's back when people drove on vacation instead of fly. And this is one of them, and it looks like a house at first when you look at it, like a residential house. But it's the Roselawn Motel, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. So you got an inset of a picture there, then you got there. It's a nice chrome card, solid, not used. And this is, Roselawn Motel. It's got a little rose up in the corner there. But that's what it looks like. So people would pick these up at the counter. They stay there, write a message, stick a stamp on it, or they would just keep it as a memento of their trip. And a lot of people my age are the ones that traveled with their families back in those days, and they're getting memories like, hey, we used to stop there on the way to the Grand Canyon or Mount Rushmore, or when we went out east. That's why they're buying these cards. This actually sold for $4.45 full price. It's going to Norman in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. So this gentleman lives in the same town that this motel was at. This next card that sold is Laguna Beach, California. Now this is a nice picture of the shoreline, Laguna Beach, got some people on the beach there, but I bet you what really sold this card is right here on the bottom. It's the See the Old West this year with 76 gasoline. That's a series card, and this is number 77 of that series. Now there is ways to go out and research and find out what actual year this was and everything like that, but a lot of people will collect these cards. And I got to start putting in my titles Union 76. I haven't done that, but I think that's one of the things from doing these videos that I need to start doing, is people do collect that, but I think that's what probably sold this card, is triggered a search for someone saw it. But that's the Laguna Beach. This sold for $4, so it was an offer sent to a buyer, and it's going to Deborah in Tempe, Arizona. I'll do some more cards here, and then I'll get into the little exercise to talk about the novelty card squeakers. So they're really cool cards. This card, these types of cards always sell. There's Hialeah racetracks, there's Del Mar. This is the Del Mar racetrack. It's the inner circle. You can see the horse right there. This is a really nice chrome card, and it's sold for $4. And this is also being sent to Deborah in Tempe, Arizona. Now, there is that little mark there on the back, which I'm not really worried about. That's a flea market thing. I do not remove those. I let the buyer or the collector deal with that, but that really doesn't cause any problems with the price or the value of the card having that on there. It just kind of shows a little bit of the history of what they did. But $4 and going to Tempe, Arizona. Now Deborah bought 2 more cards from me today too, so that's a total of about 5 cards that Deborah bought. Thank you, Deborah. So this next card is, I've sold this card many different ways before, which is the Holiday Bowl. I've sold this card many times before. It actually shows that. It shows a crowd there. This was posted in 1963. It's got a postmark. It's used, canceled. And yeah, so it's in Hollywood, California, but it's got the crowd and it's got the Hollywood Bowl. So I always pick up the Hollywood Bowl. And then the next one that she purchased is another Chrome card. And let me get to that one real quick here. I lost the spot. This is the lagoon in Balboa Park, San Diego, California. So it's just a lagoon there. And it's in Balboa Park, San Diego, California. It's just a Chrome card. It's got some nice, you know, California, San Diego type houses in there. So that's 2 more cards from Deborah going to Tempe, Arizona. And again, thank you, Deborah, for your support. Okay, I have these cards left to do. I got about 4 left on eBay. Got a bigger 3 card order and a 1 card order on Etsy and 2 cards on Hip to go through. But I'm going to go ahead and do the little exercise on the novelty postcard. These postcards are called squeakers. Now, the price of these cards, they can sell, I just did a quick look out on eBay and a few places. They sell between $5 and $20. But at one time I did see a publication on a cat squeaker card that was up for auction for like $1,000, but that's the earlier cards. They said the card didn't work anymore, but I couldn't find that to show you. I just remember seeing that one time. But squeaker postcards, what are they? They're novelty postcards that emit a sound through a small hole on the back side of the card when pressed. These are also considered novelty postcards. So I got 3 squeaker cards to show you here that I have. This one is of a dog with a ribbon, and you can see the little hole back here. Now when I got this one in the mailbox, I bought this one the other day. When I was looking at squeaker cards, I said, yeah, I like this one. And I went to the mailbox and I grabbed this out in the package in the mailbox, and I heard, and this thing was squeaking all the way through the mail system. So, but that's the noise when you squish it. Now they are thicker on there, but they will compress down into an envelope. But that's one squeaker, that's the dog. The next squeaker card I got is an elephant, and I got the googly eyes where the eyes move and stuff. And this one works as well. It's got the little hole in the back, but that's an elephant squeaker card. So these are called squeaker cards. So when you see these, they're not big money, but they are, if you collect weird postcards or just have something in your collection like I do, I have all different types. I'll be showing you through these videos, stuff like this. All these different types of, unique types of postcards. And it's more, the appeal of these is not more about the price, it's more about the novelty of that, and that novelty sell. Now this one doesn't squeak as well, but that's a picture of a bear, acrobatic bear. So, but this is, that's squeaker cards right there is what that is. And if you see these, I always pick them up if they're, you know, if I get them pretty cheap. Like I said, they're not real high dollar cards, but they are a novelty and they do appeal to people. Okay, I got about 4 cards left to go on eBay. We'll knock that out and go through those. So this card that's sold is California Tower in Balboa Park, San Diego. So I'm selling a lot of San Diego cards today, but there's the California Tower, just a Chrome card. It's unposted. This card sold for $4.45, full price, and it's going to Chula Vista, California. I try to do this in every video just for the new people that come in and haven't seen it, but what I do in between the cards while I do this, I double duty the videos. I actually pack up the cards to put in the mailbox as I do the videos. But what I do is I use the envelope, the 6.5 by 4.5. I always pre-stamp, and I have an ink stamp for my P.O. box, and then I put a little marketing stamp on the back. I just did a video on what is the best envelope and the worst envelopes that I've seen. But that's what I do, and I use the copy button in the shipping page of eBay. I hit copy for the address, put it in the Dymo label, and I put a permanent label right here. So that's what I do in between. That's just for the people that haven't new to the videos. So I'll cut all that out so you don't see me putting a card in an envelope. I don't think that's good use of your time. We're going through all these cards. Postcard videos can be hard to do sometimes, and that's why I try to break things up. But you want to see what types of cards sell. What are the people buying? Not just what I'm selling, but what are people looking for and how do they look for them? Look at the titles. Go into my store and look at my solds and look at the titles I use and what's sold and what, you know, people would save searches in eBay, or they go in there and just put postcard in your hometown on eBay, and you'll see the cards coming up and what triggers the searches. So the better you get at the keywords in the title, the more cards you will sell, or at least get the impressions in front of people. And if the price is set to sell and it's what they want to do, they're going to buy that card, or at least put it in their cart for a later decision. So the next one, I always look for Hawaii cards. This is Kauai, Hawaii. It's a Kalalalu Valley. I probably destroyed that name, but it's got a nice rainbow going across. People haven't been able to travel this year as much as they used to, so I've seen a lot of these types of cards sell this year. And this is going to Hana in Seattle, Washington. Cards left on eBay to go through, so I'll go ahead and finish these up, and then I'll go and give you a little behind the scenes of one of our short videos that I haven't published yet, and some history behind that, and we'll watch that little 30-second video. So this next card that's sold, and I've sold different versions of these types of cards too, and these are probably from the 50s, late 50s. This is the Chrysler Building and Towers of Midtown Manhattan. So there's the Chrysler Building and then the towers. It's just a chrome card, vertical card, unposted. So that's a nice scene. You can kind of date it just by kind of looking at it. I don't see any cars in here, but you could probably research it. But for $4 is what this sold. And I got a note from Andrew that says, thanks for the offer. I get those all the time. Send out offers. Price your cards to where you know you're going to send an offer to buyers all the time, and to get your margin. And you know, like when I came down this morning, I had like 26 offers to send out. I just clicked the button, put 10%, and I said send offers. Went and got a cup of coffee, came back, and I sold 4 cards. People wait for it. I know when I'm buying postcards, I bought a lot of postcards in the last couple weeks, just individual cards, unique cards. I like the novelty type cards. As you'll see in the videos going forward, I got a lot of different type of cards. Not a lot of high value cards, but just different ones that I like to have. And I would go in and I would watch that card like the night before, and then I would wait and see if I get an offer. So people are getting trained with that on eBay. Also, what's been kind of disturbing to me is out of, say, 50 cards in the last month I bought, 3 sellers had to cancel and refund me because they couldn't find the card. So we have a video up on inventory, how we did it and how we fixed those issues. We ran into the same thing a couple times when we first got started. When you have like 10 cards, 100 cards, 500 cards, you pretty well are okay on finding the cards. But once you get up to 5,000, 6,000, the thousands of cards like we have, you gotta have a nice solid inventory process and be disciplined about it. You just can't put them in a box and say, oh, I know where that one is, because after a while they all look the same. But I've had 3 buyers have to refund me for a card I wanted. They weren't really high value cards, but they just couldn't get it. Now I didn't jump on them for it or whatever, because I know sometimes people misplace things. I've done that as a seller, and that's always the worst feeling, but that's part of it. But if you are disciplined about your inventory, you shouldn't have to do that. But the bad thing is, every one of those they said out of stock. If they would have contacted me and offered me a different card or whatever, worked with me a little bit, maybe it wouldn't have been a ding on them. But on them it's a defect, and you don't want those defects. I think when you get 3 defects, they'll knock you down store level and stuff like that. I've never had it. I've had a few but I've always been able to find the product. So be careful with that. And this sold for $4, like I said, and going to Baltimore, Maryland. Last card I have on eBay that sold out of the 19 cards on eBay that we had today. Remember, we had 19 cards sold on eBay. We had 4 cards sold on Etsy and 2 on Hip. But this is the last. This is number 19 on eBay. This is Dogwood in Bloom, Baltimore Forest, Asheville, North Carolina. I've sold a lot of dogwood. I think it's the state flower or something in North Carolina. But this is a white border card. No, this is actually a linen card. When I felt it, I felt a little thing. But now, if you look right here, right up there, you see those little bleed. This is called bleed through. This is where the cancel stamp, and what they call that is a killer cancel. It actually went through the card, and it bled through to the front of the card. And sometimes that can damage the value of the card, but this one isn't real bad. It's just part of the process, the history of the card. I call it postcard patina, which is, you know, like rust on antiques and stuff, but that's, I've read about, is called the killer cancel because it went through, it bled through. And this is a real thick card. For that to go through, they had to press pretty hard to do that. But this was actually posted in 1941. So this is a pretty nice card of dogwood. It's a solid card. It's got good stock on it, but it's a linen card. But it looks like a white border, but it's got the linen texture. I don't know if I can get it in the picture here. But at first I thought it was a white border, but when I felt it, I felt the rag count and the raised edges. This is going to Patrick in Tallahassee, Florida, and he paid $4.45, full price for this card. That's all the cards that I sold on eBay. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you the short video. We're doing short videos, and we're putting them up every Tuesday. They're the past and present views. What we do is we go out and we get a postcard. This postcard, the video today, is the Momence High School in Momence, Illinois. It's about 60, 70 miles southeast of Chicago, and it's about 15 minutes from Indiana. So I lived in that town for a while, actually worked there. But this high school, now as you'll see, they did an add-on gymnasium. This smokestack is gone. And we actually get these cards, and then we go out and find the place, and then we take a picture of what it looks like today, and we combine those into a video. The videos are about 30-35 seconds long, real short, but this is YouTube. You can rewind and go back and take a look and see the difference. But we thought it was pretty cool. We enjoy doing these videos. It gets us out of the house, out of the office, and go and finding these places on there. So let me go ahead and start this video for you. Here you go. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I know it's real quick, but go ahead and rewind it. We have a lot of them out there. You can actually go into the playlist that we have for short videos and just click on it, and it'll play all the videos in less than 5 minutes that we got there. But we got a lot of motels. We're starting to get our radius out more, and we are going to travel down south probably in the next couple months. I'm out there looking for postcards now, see if I can find some. And then we have some that we're going to be doing out west. Once everything clears up that's happening in the world and it's safe, we'll be able to get out there and get some more pictures of those. But feel free to share any of these videos. Just share them out. And now let's go ahead and get into the Etsy cards. I had 2 orders on Etsy to go out this morning. One was for 3 cards, and then one was for 1 card. This order actually had, and I've sold this card before, and I've sold other ones too. It's the key lime pie recipe. It's a chrome card. It's got a picture of the key lime. It's got the recipe right here. Beat the eggs and everything like that. It's a chrome card. So this is kind of a touristy card. But this card sold for $4.45. The next card is the aerial view of constant smelter operations town site of Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. So it's an aerial view, and I always make sure I put air view, bird's eye view, stuff like that into the title in the beginning, because people collect those, but it's some kind of smelting plant out there. It's an unposted card, Canadian card. So it's pretty cool. I liked it because it had the smoke. And this sold for $4.45 as well. And this next one are the cats. Roosevelt Lion Group at the Smithsonian. So there's a lion, there's a lion, there's a lion, there's a lion, there's a lion. So this has got that beveled cut around it, the fancy edge. If you can see it, you probably can on there. But it's got that cut edge on there. This is a linen card, unposted. So animals like that, you know, the lions, they do pretty well. This sold for $4.45 as well. This whole order was $13.35, and it is being shipped to Giancarlo in Ottawa, Canada. Thanks. The order that I had on Etsy is a kind of a different card. It's not cut as big. It's got a little bit of a different cut. Let me see if I can get it on a regular. So if you can see this, it looks a little smaller along the bottom. So it's a little thinner card. It's a touristy card, but it doesn't hurt the value of it. It's Square Top Mountain, Bridger National Forest, and Wyoming. This is what they call a view card. It's a view card because it's a view of a landscape, a mountain. But a lot of people say these types of cards don't sell. I sold this card for full price, $4.45. It does have 25 cents from a flea market or antique booth type thing here, or on there, but like I said, I don't take those off. But it is a thinner card, but it's a really nice card. This is going to Emily in Bozeman, Montana. I sell on 3 different postcards on 3 different sites: eBay, Etsy, and HipPostcards. Now everybody knows about eBay and and Etsy. Those 2 are, you know, the bigger sites. Then you got HipPostcards, which they call a niche site. HipPostcards have Hip Comics, Hip Stamps, and then HipPostcards. They have millions of cards out there. Really neat thing about Hip is once you get volume, and now if you only have 100, 200, 500 cards or whatever, probably selling on Hip probably isn't worth the time yet until you get up to a good volume. But what Hip does, they have an application interface with eBay. So if I put a card on eBay, it automatically transfers or copies it over to Hip. And if it sells on Hip, it'll mark it sold and put it in my end the listing on eBay and put sold in front of it. If it sells on eBay, it automatically takes it off Hip. There's really nothing. That's the only cross posting I do. eBay and Etsy have separate cards. There's no, if I have doubles of a card, I might put one on eBay and one on Etsy, but they have different SKU numbers, different listings, different inventory numbers. But eBay and Hip are synced together. I've never had a problem with it, never had a hiccup. It's just amazing. If I put them on sale on eBay, I'll automatically go on sale on Hip. They do have a store charge. Their fees are lower than Etsy and eBay, but you want to check out HipPostcard. It's HipPostcard. It's a growing site. I really think they're going to be a bigger player in the next 5 to 10 years. But this card sold on Hip. It's beautiful, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, posted in 1970. One of the early, most present cards I've sold in a while. But that's what it is. Got a little circle. It's got the view, so it's a tourist card. It was posted in 1970. It's got 5 cents worth of stamps on the back. And this is going to Susan in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's sold on Hip is the First Christian Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's a linen card. You can just tell by the blue that's up in there and the red. The inks are fast drying, but you can always feel a linen card because they got the texture on there. You can actually see it also. But just by the color of the inks, I kind of knew that. This was posted in 1943. Really nice picture of a thing. You can tell how they took up the whole card. There's no white border around it. Doesn't mean it's a white border card, but they just did the whole picture on there. This actually sold for $4.45. It's going to Gina in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All the cards I have for today. Here's the stack right here. It's worth over $110. You know, over $100 worth of postcards in one day, between 3 different sites. 19 on eBay, 4 on Etsy, and 2 on Hip. And that's what I got going out this morning. We went over to Squeaker Cards. You know, if you see those, if you like unique cards or novelty, like I said, they're not a lot of money, but they're neat to have, just, you know, just to collect the novelty cards. They do squeak, so when you get them in the mailbox, you'll know you'll get them. And then we went over our short video of the Momence, so check out our other short videos on there. They're real easy to go through. And ephemera was our term. Remember, ephemera is a good buy. When you get it in big lots, you pay pennies for each item. Do some research, but make sure it's a good quality. If it's falling apart and stuff like that, you might not want to get into it. But as you grow in the ephemera, you start looking for what, you know, digging through a box, you might find that one item worth, you know, big money out of that whole box of ephemera. There's just so much out there. It's such a big category on stuff, and postcards kind of fall into that with the Valentines, etc. So check out our other videos got up there. Like we said before, we have a packing video, an inventory video. I got videos on envelopes that just came out. I had one on how I do the financial data. There's just a whole catalog of different things out there. And remember, SMPostcards is the best place to learn about postcard reselling. We appreciate you watching and hope to see you on the next one.